If this one hasn't defeated me, then I'm making it to the end. But of course, this day is not finished yet, because I did not have a camp spot. So until that's safely in the bag and I know where I'm sleeping tonight, I can't say for sure that I've beaten this day. Yeah, I'm just shattered. This day has absolutely beat the hell out of me. I've had enough of this day. I really have. Good morning. It's a cold one, but it's a beautiful one. For a roadside camping spot, this is some beautiful nature here. Turns out I got really lucky. Oh dear. Oh, I was struggling last night. Oh, that was brutal at the end. Just walking into the darkness, not knowing whether I was going to find a camping spot, can get really stressful. Yeah, I would have accepted anything that looked half decent. But it turns out I got a really good spot. I was walking for nearly an hour after getting my water from the pub, but if you can make it out, the spot just here is relatively flat, doesn't have loads of grass, and doesn't look like it's going to be slug central. That was one of the key factors for me. I realised that most of the places I was looking at were going to be infested with slugs. Oh, here comes a car, so I'm going to turn off the light. Tap down. So there you go. Today's going to be a dry, clear one. It's going to be a beautiful day, but the footpaths are still going to be waterlogged from all that rain. So definitely, at least for the morning, I need to be following the roads and the paths, if they had them, next to the roads, and staying on essentially tarmac. I'll have a little look on the map to see if there's any sort of bridleways that look like they're more track than they are fields, but I'll be staying away from anything that looks like a footpath going through fields or near like rivers and streams and brooks. But hopefully by the second half of today, as I start to get into higher elevations, this shouldn't be such an issue. So it'll be a cooked brekkie this morning, I guess. Might do it here. I'm not really sure what's surrounding the area and whether there's a space for me to do it, but I could definitely sit just over here behind you and lean up against that gate, because that's still dry over there with a little spot. So I would definitely see if I can't find a spot away from the road where no one would see me doing it, have a little fire and cook up some scrambled egg, and I think we'll have that on campsite this morning. Yes. Well, continuing with the theme of this trip, I've changed my mind again. That seems to be happening a lot. I've realised it's quite cold right now, and sitting around, even though I'd have a little fire and a hot brekkie, isn't really going to warm me up properly, and I do need to get warm. It is a very, very cold morning, so the best thing to do is actually crack on, get a few miles under the belt first, wait for the sun to burn off all this fog, because literally as soon as the sun came up, it just created all this fog. So let's make a start. Alright, time for breakfast. This little tree just next to me here, just enough fuel. I think I should be able to get it to do it. There's only one way to know for sure. Let's get cracking. Got a little bit of fire lighter. On it. Well, I have enough heat mass. I think it's going to work. I don't know why, but the wind's changed direction. It's coming right at me now. Oh, that's awful. them nicks in. Oh, frick, that handle's hot. Woo! Jeez. Oh, that's so hot. That's ridiculous. Well, just like the other day, managed to make my breakfast and it's looking nice. And I've got some visitors who seem like they're interested in what I'm up to. But it's not for you guys. So I'm going to eat this and then get cracking soon after. In the meantime, you guys make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. If not for me, for these guys here. Everywhere you look here, it's absolutely gorgeous. Even the buildings. I don't think I could find a single way to look that wasn't an absolute feast for the eyes. Even the walls have style. And the bridges. I guess I can't go here then. I mean, that's pretty clear. It's a private road, farm access only. Except, if you look up there, give you a little better look. Yeah, I'm allowed up here. They're hiding the proper sign and putting up some nonsense like that. I mean, it's everywhere. And it's really frustrating. What do you think, Tim? Are they in the right or wrong? Oh, a lovely bit of the river there. Just hear that. Seems like I'm following that for a while now. You're heading through a valley. Looking forward to this bit. Hope you are too. It wasn't quite the path I thought it was going to be. So the wide open, beautiful views at the moment. I've got this little, almost like local sort of secret feeling type of valley. It's quite cool. This one's a much bigger valley and we're on the top edge of it. This path's called Monarch's Way. Not sure, maybe a long gone monarch used to use this as their way to get to and from somewhere, I don't know. Might look that up, I'm interested. It'd be quite cool to know I'd be walking a path a king used to. I don't imagine for a second he walked here. Electric fence, yeah. So some genius has put an electric fence between me and a bench for people to use, and it says, in loving memory of James Frederick Emlyn Clark, 1927 to 2013. Well, much of a memory if you can't get over here. Do I want to get zapped in the testicles or the back? I think I'll take my pack off and go under. Oh, I'll brush that. Ah. I'm protected. No one's bothering me at lunchtime. I'm leaving behind that bridleway and I'm back onto the roads for a while. Cheers. I need to make my way along here onto a bit of a busier road, and then hopefully another one as quiet as this after that. And then I think from there it's all bridleway, just one big long bridleway down into Cotswolds, and then from there it's a few odds and sods before I get to a pub somewhere in a little tiny village just next to the woods where I want to camp. And the idea is obviously to fill up my pouch at that pub before heading into the woods for my last and final camp of this adventure. So yeah, looking forward to that, but it's quite a long slog from here till there still. It's still a few miles away. I think 5 or 6 miles left for the day, which doesn't sound a lot compared to how many I've been putting in per day, but I mean, I feel every one of those miles. You can trust me on that. I did have quite a long stop for lunch there. It was a late one, but I've got to have it when I've got to have it. Breakfast was a little later because obviously I did that walk in the morning before breakfast, so everything gets pushed a bit late. So I won't be rushed for dinner this evening. I may even wait until just before dark. I think somewhere around about 8 or 9 o'clock would be a pretty good time to have my dinner. Probably do it just before dark, not wait till... I won't be waiting till after dark because that's always a bit of a pain cooking in the dark, so I'll certainly be trying to have it before, but I'll leave it as late as I can. Obviously, it's fingers crossed for some decent burnable materials where I'm going to end up. I really need some dry grass. There's quite a lot here. It might serve me well to grab some beforehand if I see like a really good section of stuff. Like, yeah, there's quite a bit here. It's one of those things, I don't really want to carry anything, but that's quite lightweight. And yeah, I might get some of this grass and some of these fat things, now that I think about it, and carry those with me, because there'll be almost nothing. But it might be critical to getting a fire started because I don't have any firelighter left. And if I don't find something in the woods, that's a problem. Thankfully this road is a quiet one, and the one I had to go up a little bit of wasn't really that bad, so yeah, it was okay. On the map it was a pink one, which, well, maybe it's red, but it just looks pink. But that made it look like it was a fast road, because they often are, with lots of cars. But yeah, it didn't seem that bad, so all is well. There's some deer over there. Oh dear. I'm trying very hard to stay positive, but my energy levels are lagging. I think I've got nothing in the reserve tank because of all the walking yesterday and just the sheer stress of it all. I think yesterday's problems are sort of still with me in a way. It's gut-wrenching news, guys. I'm gonna have to call this a fail. There's no way I can get through this. Just look at it. Only joking. It's only some cows. Come on in, you lot. I'm coming through. Go on. Whoa, someone's looking frisky. I'll be honest, I thought that was going to be worse. I thought I was going to be walking through all that, but they've left this little bit alone, which is good. They're going to follow me now. Oh no! Bye bye cows. Oh dear. Biggest danger I've got in here, I think, is the cowpats. Well, I'm hoping that's the biggest danger. What I don't want to see is a really boggy field, like with a lake in the middle. We've had that before. So yeah, there's that. Oh, I've got an entourage. Leg it! Now, if only we actually really had some cows like that on mine and Tim's weekend, that would have been funny. Oh dear. Look, they're all off. They all think I've got food, I suppose. Oh dear, I love them. They're great, aren't they? Oh dear. Right. I best get a move on. I had to do it. Well, I got out alive. And this is my reward. Hey! Look at that. Made it to Cotswolds. Just topped up my bottle at the pub. Now it's time to crack on. The lady in that pub wins the award for the most full pouch ever. That's crazy. I mean, I don't think I've ever filled it that high. And this is where we're going. So I've got all the water I need. I've still got some in my bottle. And but I did drink a fair bit of that, to be honest, because it's been thirsty work today. I didn't have a huge amount earlier in the day, so I've had a fair bit in between those two pubs. But now it's a case of get to the campsite and get myself sorted for the evening, and I'll be able to have another drink or two now that I've got all this. Oh, there's a big old... That's an actual campsite. Wow. Okay. I mean, fair play to them. Getting the kids out, doing a bit of camping. Yeah. Although, as you know, I prefer to be out in the wild rather than these tame camping parks. But there's something to be said. There's more communal stuff to do when there's camping like that, and I've got a feeling from what I can hear going on, there's a bit of like a group event happening, and all the kids obviously probably know each other, or at least are been put together for the group. Yeah, look, you can see over there now. This chap's building a fire. Big old bonfire. They've got the seating area around it. Lovely. I won't. Yeah. Looks like I'm not the only one who's going to be having a fire this evening then. Although his looks a bit bigger than mine. It's not a competition, Tim. Don't start in the comments. Oh, I can feel how heavy this is. She's really filled this up. It's pulling on my hand. Oh, that would be so tempting. look at that. There's a flat spot near the water there. But that's way too close to the path and way too close to the stuff back there. But what a lovely little spot. Yeah, I'd definitely like to make my way into here a bit further before choosing a spot. But I don't want to be going forever either, because it's getting late. The sun will be setting in, well, I don't know, half an hour or so. So I only have a certain amount of light, and I definitely don't want to be cooking in the dark. This is not the worst or the best camp spot I've ever found. Just over here, there's a kind of fence with a bit of electrified stuff at the bottom. I'm thinking maybe that's like a pheasant sort of enclosure, or maybe some other kind of nature enclosure. Certainly there's no access in there, but I've come up a raggedy path. This is the path that I've just come up. I think this is a spot I'm not supposed to be accessing, but the gate that was down there stopping me was down, so there wasn't a gate, and there was no signage to say no access. So I think my best spot is this spot just here. In there it's a little steeper and it's harder to kind of shift the soil, but here it's actually quite loose and there are like bits of brick and rubble in there, and if I shift those and push them over to one side, I can kind of level this out and make it so it's usable. Oh, jeez. Success, guys. It's in, and it's relatively flat. It's flat enough at least for me to use. I don't know that the bivvy is going to hold up too well with this ground, but it's the last night. If I get any more holes in it, I've already had to repair, I think, 4 holes. It won't get repaired after tonight. It's done its use. I don't think there's any more out of that. It's done a good job though, it really has. But as you can probably tell, I'm losing the light. So I'm going to finish setting this up and then quickly get on with some food. But it looks like I'm cooking in the dark again. I didn't mess around with the fire. I just threw everything that I brought with me to get it going. And that was a good idea, because it did struggle to make all the little twigs get going, because I'd got them off the floor and they were very, very damp. I've got a big old pile of these behind me, if you can make them out. I'll just give you a bit more light. I've got the one above me, but I've also got that one below there just for a bit of lighting for you. So as you can probably make out, some pretty good wood that actually. This stuff was still on the tree, but totally dead, and so seasoned on the tree. And because it was off the ground, it's not too wet. So I've got a really good base there. I've got about, I think, 5 or 6 of these in. They'll last for quite some time. That's obviously going to boil up some water really quick, but I've got enough to put another sort of either another big load like that, or probably more likely 2 half loads, which will keep it burning at a bit more of a reasonable rate. So let's get that on. There we go. If I remember rightly, I want to get as much water as I think I can in here. Yeah, it's quite a lot, especially with all the stuff that's going to go in, but yeah, I think we'll be okay. So just the water on. Just need to get some food in there. There we go. Should be my dumpling mix. Yep. Put that in there. Looks like the right one. Yeah. going to do it right this time and get the handles out of the way by rolling everything backwards. Getting it off the bottom one. That's to get caught up in all that. So, right. I feel like I just had somebody. Over in that direction. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? There we have it. Just like last time, where the dumplings are kind of sunken in a bit, but they are there, I promise you. Oh, it's going to be lovely. I really need this. It's got cold. It's been a long day. Yeah, absolutely needed. But right now I need something to put the pot on that isn't going to get the bottom all nasty and grimy, because that's going to be far too hot to eat. So yeah, let's put a few of these in. I mean, there's just twigs all around me, to be honest. They're a bit damp from being on the floor, but they're good to go, really. You've got a good base like that. It just grates a bit of smoke at first, but then they'll get going. And the smoke's going in the right direction, so. Right, well, that's it for this episode. It's been a lovely day. I'm glad to have had you along. Hope you enjoyed all the little special moments there were there, because there were quite a few. Obviously, a little bit rushed here at the campsite. That's just the way of it sometimes, especially when I get here late. But obviously, I'll see you in the morning. Again, I don't think I'm going to do a huge amount on the campsite, and it's just going to be about ploughing down the last few miles that I have left. I think there's something like between about 11 and 14 miles left, somewhere in that ballpark. Not exactly sure. I've had to be quite frugal with my battery use on my phone, because it's getting very, very tight. I've managed to make sure the camera stays charged at the very least, but the phone, I can only crack that out to have a look where I'm going when it's absolutely necessary, and I have to keep remembering as much of the pathway as possible, or the route, I mean. But yeah, so it's definitely been a fun adventure, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it as much as I have, even with blisters on my toes. It's been a lot of fun, and I feel pretty chuffed that I've got this far. If all goes well and I make it tomorrow, I'm going to be over the moon, and I really hope you'll be there with me if I do. So make sure you're subscribed and join me for the last episode. But that's it from me. I'm going to enjoy the fire, enjoy my beef and veg stew with the dumplings. Never a day has it been more earned than today and yesterday. Put some miles in. Oh, it's lovely having a good fire. I told you, look, didn't take long. And with that, you have fun.